Hey there, welcome to my channel where we continue to cultivate personal mastery, self-worth, and leadership in others. But let me tell you, this is the moment where I am welcoming myself back to my channel. The reason I'm saying that is because if you look at the last 4 weeks, my posting has been erratic. The last 2 weeks I did not post, the week before I posted, and the week before I did not post. And the reason for that was that I could feel that I am physically exhausted. My mind would not carry me through to even switch on the camera. I've got all the list of topics that I built my content around, and the content is there. But I could not just get myself to get to a point where I sit in front of the camera and convey the message that I know you're so looking forward to. And at that point, I realized that it is really time to cut off. And that's exactly what I did. Because we're living in this world where everything is about rush, speed, deliver before competition eats you alive. Not realizing that we are our own worst enemy, because we can push ourselves to a certain extent. The strain that we can take has got its limits as well. And I felt at that point that enough is enough. I do not have the energy to go forward and do this. Not because I don't like you, not because I was not concerned about you missing the message, but I realized that I'm putting pressure on myself. And how then do I go ahead to pour for an empty cup? Because literally, I'm telling you, I felt that my cup was empty. And actually, I'm going to share with you at least 3 stories just to drive this point home, that in life, we sometimes have got to go slow in order to go fast. And I know this concept sounds really counterintuitive. Like I said, we live in a world where we think that if I don't do this thing first, somebody's going to do it before me. If I don't do this today, tomorrow is lost. If I don't post, I lose some subscribers. If I don't do this, this will be the outcome. And really, if you stand back and think about it, it is us playing this fear over and over in our minds until it creates the anxiety in us, until we get to that point where we are at dis-ease, at that point where we disintegrate. Instead of taking this advice that says, go slow in order to get fast. Let me share you the first story. You know, a very good friend of mine was a panelist in one of the seminars, and she said, you know, I had been running from 5 years old to where I am now, 50 years of age. And by the way, she was driving a point to say she has been running from 5 to 50. But the point that she was making was, I have moved from one industry to the next. I have moved from one job to the next bigger job. From this bigger job, then I go and check for this biggest job. It was always about what is it that I can achieve so that I can continue to grow myself. But there was a point where she realized that if she does not call it quits for that moment, if she does not come to a point where she says enough is enough, she is going to break down. And instead of breaking down, she is actually going to get shattered. And she says what moved her was actually telling her parents that, guys, I'm tired. I'm going to take a sabbatical. And you know what the parents said? Our girl, we have always wanted you to come back. You are the person that we have lost. Because in that process of trying to be everything to everyone, we lose ourselves. We miss important things in our own lives. And I'm happy that she stood back to go slow. And that has benefited her so immensely. The second story is of a person that I also know very close to my heart. She has always wanted to go to sabbatical, but every time she negotiates a sabbatical, and not bad intent from a manager's side, but you cannot take this number of months because in this particular month there is this big thing that will be happening across the country and we need you to lead that particular project. And she would come up with a counter argument and how she's going to mitigate the risk in her absence. And then they would say, but that will be closer to the year end and you've got to do performance reviews for your team. And she would come up with a counter argument and a risk mitigation. And then they would come up with a third point. And I realized at that moment that until you as a person forces it, until you as a person who feels it inside, until you as a person who feels the pain says enough is enough, it's not going to happen. Because in this life, we've got to break from this rush. We've got to really bring it to a halt so that we can be pregnant and give birth to something new. That something new is not going to happen until we take that break. The third story, talking about giving birth to something new or even something better. We have all seen through this Olympics. You have probably read or watched the Netflix documentary on Simone Biles, that in Tokyo, she was not in a right mental state. But people continue to put pressure upon her to continue. They were making her feel guilty that she has let her team down. You know the story, I don't have to rehash it. But see now what happened in Paris with her coming back rejuvenated, giving birth to something better than what she could have given in Tokyo. So we've got the responsibility to ourselves to go slow in order to go fast. If you don't do that, if you don't take time out and say enough is enough, it's going to be difficult for you to regain the focus and the energy that you require to do things better. You know, I say this thing also to my team. You know, when they take leave, I say to them, please shut your computer. Stay away from your email. And actually, that's what I did during this time when I did not post. I took some time off and stayed away from things that were going to distract my focus. And I always say to my team, stay away. Nothing is going to burn just because you are not there. I always said to my teams, even in previous organizations, that if your company is situated at 215 Evolution Street, after 2 weeks of rest, you will still find it in that location. So most of us, we say we take leave, we go on vacation, but we take laptops and we get into meetings. We don't even have time for our loved ones that we came with to those holidays. And then when we go back to the work environment, we are exhausted. It's like we hadn't even taken the time off. So we've got a responsibility to just go back and rejuvenate, because once you do that, once you permit yourself, and you have to force it to get to that point, once you permit yourself to get to that stage, you are able to focus. You are able to refresh. You are able to reflect. You are able to reorganize how you want things to happen. But without taking that moment, you're just going to be in the rut. You are going to be in the red race. You're going to find yourself in this maze that is life and end up delivering poorly, missing things that ordinarily you would easily achieve. So I did that favor to myself. I stood back and I said, I'm going to go slow so that I can come back and go fast. And when I come back fast as well, it's not like I'm just going to go on a sprint. I'll come gradually back into it so that I do not deplete the energy that I have built when I was going slow. Because immediately as you go too fast, you're going to find yourself at that point that led you to take the time off in the first place. Think of an alcoholic. Sometimes they take a break, and usually when they come back, they erase that period where they did not drink as if it never existed. It's like they want to cover the lost time by drinking excessively. So you're not going to do that to yourself. And I'm doing this video to encourage you to say, embrace taking the time off. Embrace going slow so that you are able to go fast. Embrace rest so that you can come back a better person. You can come back with a different form of energy, because it is possible. Never suffer from fear of missing out. You are capable to deliver, but you can only deliver from a cup that is full. If you like what I said, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel so that you can be able to get videos of this similar nature. Until the next video, I hope that you are going to take it slow so that you can go fast. Thank you.